सिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम्। आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना। भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान्। भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणु परकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रम् अकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। अचतुर्वदनोर्ब्रह्मा द्विबाहुरपरो हरिः अभाललोचनः शम्भुः भगवान् बादरायणः। पाराशर्यवचःसुधां सुमनसः दुग्धाब्धिमध्योद्धृतां संसाराग्निविदीपनव्यपगत प्राणात्मसञ्जीवनीं। पूर्वाचार्य सुरक्षितां बहुमतिं व्याघातदूरस्थिताम् आनीतां तु निजाक्षरैः सुमनसः भौमाः पिबन्त्वन्वहम्। Namaskarams, and we have gathered on such a beautiful morning where Indra has been extremely bountiful and copious with his blessings in the form of precipitation. It is good as long as those waters don't enter our houses. Andal tells in the famed composition called Tiruppavai, Vaazha ulaginil peididai. Rains should be so relishing that we should be able to have our cup of pakodas while it is raining outside. So rain is always treated so important in Sanatana Dharma that most of our scriptures talk Mahalakshmi as a form of water. See, today our calendars are filled with Mahalakshmi in a beautiful brocade of green sari, flanked by 2 elephants on sides, and there are 916 gold coins coming from her palm. Because for us, wealth today is gold. When there was barter system, where was gold? Where were gold coins? Gold existed. But water is one of the main sources of wealth for us. So in Shastra, Mahalakshmi is water. So if our city is getting water, indeed we should feel blessed. Just that we have not been adept enough to keep places that can store water. We can never say there's scarcity of rains. There's scarcity of noble thoughts to preserve those rainwaters. So in that such a rosy, wonderful morning, we have gathered for day 2 of Shri Vishnu Sahasranama Mahatmyam or Vaibhavam. At the outset, I would like to thank the very revered Shri Bharati Vidya Bhavan. I have been very happy to be associated with the Bhavans in various cities. I have performed in Chennai at least, 50-60 times, in Mylapore. I performed in, they have a campus, if I'm right, Rajaji Vidyashram. Performed in Rajaji Vidyashram. I've performed in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Hyderabad, Secunderabad, Jubilee Hills, if I'm right. Then I've performed for Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Kolkata. Sri Subramaniam is just here. So I just performed in the month of April there. Performed in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, London, now in Bangalore. So I'm extremely indebted through the day and the night to Bharati Vidya Bhavan. And of course to all the Astikas who have invited me, to the sponsors Badri and Vishal, to all the Astika volunteers of Bharati Vidya Bhavan, and to the architect of this new auditorium. I saw him yesterday. Is he here today? So he was there yesterday. So convey my regards to him. And now, yesterday we have to give a recap of what I have spoken and what you have supposedly heard. Mahabharata Saratvat Rishibhiv Pariganataha Vedacharya Samaharat Bhishmotkrishta Matatvataha parigrahātishayataha Gita Taikartha Kaschanaha. So Vishnu Sahasranamam is the essence of Mahabharatam. Mahabharata Saratvat. So the essence of Mahabharatam is Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam. Rishibhiv Pariganataha. It has been sung. These names have been revered by our rishis. Rishibhiv Pariganataha. Vedacharya Samaharat. It has been approved and compiled by none other than Krishna Dvaipayana, who is Vedavyasa himself. Vedacharya Samaharat. Bhishmot Krishna Matatvataha. These namas were uttered by a great Bhagavatottama Gangeya Shantanava called Bhishmacharya. Bhishmot Krishna Matatvataha. Parigrahātishayataha. It does not find acceptance only among scholars. It finds acceptance even in the medical practitioners of those days. The example being Charaka Samhita. It has been accepted by great poets and dramatists. Example is Banabhatta's Kadambari. It has found acceptance even amongst astrologers. Brihat Parashara Horashastra is an example. It has been commented upon by Acharyas of Trimathas, which is Advaita, Visishtadvaita and Dvaita Matas. It has been revered by every other Tamil mystic saint. See, in Bharata Desham, politics can come even in languages. That is the beauty. And people who do so may not have an idea of the literature that the language is given. Of course, it is undeniable that Tamil is one of the oldest languages as per the inscriptions available. Now somebody will cut this and paste it. And then what will happen? 10 people will say, who told you Kannada is the oldest? Who told you Telugu is the oldest? See, we are not finding which is the best. We are saying which is the oldest. Oldest has to go as per historical inscriptions and evidences. As per the evidences available today, as on date, Tamil happens to be one of the oldest languages. Now there will be a counter question. Ask me a question. Why not Sanskrit? Correct? Because Sanskrita literature is very old, but inscriptions may not be that old. You're getting my point? Why? So do you mean to say that Tamil is older than Sanskrit? Somebody will ask. We cannot come to that conclusion. Any sane historian, archaeologist cannot come to that conclusion. Because the literature in Sanskritam for very long time was oral in nature. So you cannot find inscriptions of it. But you can always find a Prakritam inscription related to it. So we have all these inscriptions that talk about the historicity of a certain language. As per the inscriptions available, Tamil happens to be undeniably one of the oldest languages. Now, if I stop there, then anybody from Tamil Nadu can make friends with me. I will go one step ahead. Tamil literature was completely Vedic in nature. Let me now touch the Alvars. See, today, if there is a certain book written today here, a person in the US at the same time can know that I have written a book. Technology has advanced so much. Today, while I am speaking here, there may be another 500 people listening online. They will be in different geographies. They will all be listening to this particular lecture. But imagine 200 years back, forget 200, come to 30, 40 years back today, parents tell their children, once you reach the airport and after you have boarded or prior to the boarding, give me a call. 30 years before, was this possible? You had to just send them away, assuming that nature will take good care of them. Today, every minute we want to know. The parents are extremely perplexed if their children don't call. In those days, if they reach another destination, 10 days later, one small postcard will come that I have reached, which means to say that I don't have to engage the priest. So we have lived in that era. People here, elderly people, know that era. Imagine 300, 400 years before, when probably technology was absolutely not existent. I'm not talking about technology of constructing temples. We had our own way of constructing temples. But I'm talking about the general technology that we perceive today. How was communication made? I'll give you an example. Even today, if you have to go to this place, there is no way but you'll have to toil a little. That is called a village called Uttikadu. You have to take a train either to Tiruchirappalli, which is Trichy, or you may have to go to Tanjavur or Kumbhakonam, and between Tanjavur and Kumbhakonam is a Kartikeya Sthalam called as Swami Malai, and from Swami Malai you have to go 6 kilometers in the fields, and then you will spot a tiny village called as Uttikadu. Roughly 350-400 years before, lived a great Vagayakara, composer, called as Venkatakavi. He writes, Padmavati Ramanam Jayadeva Bhojaraja. Padmavati Ramanam Jayadeva. He talks about Jayadeva and Padmavati, who lived 450 years before him in Kenduli, a village in Odisha. How did that communication happen? He tells, Bhakti Sara Kula Shekhara Yatindra Bhattanata Bhuta Munivahana Bhakta Pada Dhuli Madura Kavi Parakala Mahadakwaya Pramukhaira Virala Samstuyamana Tadramidagana Rasolla Sakinchit Unmilita Nayanam Palita Bhuvanam Kelita Ranga Purandara Bhavanam Sri Ranganatham Anisham. He talks about a list of poets. He talks about Purandara, Namadev from Maharashtra. How was communication possible? Because people toiled very hard to spread bhakti. They went village after village singing the names of God and saints. So, Vishnu Sahasranamam was uttered by Bhishmacharya close to the field of Kurukshetra when the questions were sought after, answers were sought by Yudhishthira. But those set of 1,000 names which was uttered by Bhishma after his time was equally popular in Tamil Nadu. How do we know that? Andal tells in Nachiyar Tirumozhi, Andal, the mystic poetess, sir, is Andal restricted only to Tamil Nadu? No. In Telugu Bhasha, there is Panchamaha Kavyam. One of it is Krishna Devaraya's Amukta Malyada. Amukta Malyada, that poem in terse Telugu, is about the life history of Andal. Amukta Malyada, the one who gave the garland worn by her to the Lord. Malyada. And how do we know that? Because he was camping in a temple called Kakulandra Vishnu near Vishakhapattanam to wage a war on the Kalingas. That night, the Lord appeared in his dream like a beautiful rain-bearing cloud, and he asked the Lord, what should I do? The Lord told him, it seems you are fighting well, you should also write well. You should prove that administrators are also good educators. Then he asked, in which language should I write? All this Krishna Devaraya himself mentions. The Lord told him, it seems, see, for all languages, Sanskritam is the mother, but for all the regional languages, Telugu is the best. He says, I may be wrong in Telugu pronunciation, you can correct me. Desha Bhasa Landalaku Telugu Lessa. For all the languages, Telugu is the most beautiful. Write in Telugu. Then he said, okay, I will write in Telugu, but what is the subject? He asked the Lord. The Lord told, there was one little girl who gave me the garland that she wore. That particular garland Write about that lady who has given me that particular garland. So he wrote Amukta Malyada. So a Telugu poet is writing the life history of a Tamil poetess, because in devotion there is no language divide. The moment you see the language divide, you are out of bhakti. So this particular incident tells us that devotion has traveled boundaries. Coming to Andal's Nachiyar Tirumozhi, the second Tirumozhi. Namamayiram yetanina narayana narane unnai mamitan maganaga பெற்றாள் எமக்கு வாதை தவிருமே நாமமாயிரம். The one who has been celebrated by the 1,000 names. The, the is a definite article in English. You cannot use that unless and until the object is not known. So Sahasranamam was known. That is why it is the Vishnu Sahasranamam. Tirumangayalvar, the last of the mystic saints who lived in the 7th century AD. When Nandivarma II constructed the beautiful Vaikuntha Perumal temple of Kanchipuram, he lived, because he mentions about that king in that particular Pasuram. He wrote 6 prabandhams, 6 works. Periya Tirumozhi, Periya Tirumadal, Siriya Tirumadal, Tiruvalukkutirukkai, Tirukkurunthondagam, Tirunedunthondagam. These are the 6 prabandhams. In one of them, called as Siriya Tirumadal, he mentions about a little girl who was head over heels in love with the Lord. She became so much engrossed in the Lord that she developed a love fever in herself. What is love fever? You have to read Ashtapadi for that. Nindati chandana mindu kiranaya manu vindati khedam adhiram. The rays of the moon will be burning, it seems. The smell of the sandalwood will be obnoxious, it seems, for the person who has fallen in love. So, this particular girl who was in love with the Lord, she was suffering from fever. That is when the mother wanted to check who has caused this fever, whether it is Delta, whether it is, what is the first one, Alpha, another? Alpha, Delta, Omicron. Sir, don't tell those names, sir. All memories come. So, the mother wanted to find what caused the fever in the girl. As she was looking outside her gazebo, she noticed a fortune teller walk. So, the fortune teller was called by the mother. She asked, please check my daughter and check what has happened to her. So, this fortune teller, she will not do without getting any sambhavana, remuneration. So she threw some grains at that fortune teller and said, now tell her. The fortune teller thought of Parvati, because fortune tellers think of Parvati in the first chakram of Sri Vidya. Sarvashadi Paripuraka Chakram. Have you heard of this chakram? Sarvashadi Paripuraka Chakra Swaminim Parama Shivakaminim. This comes as Navavaranam of Muthuswami Dikshitar. In Sri Chakram, you have got the first chakram called as Sarvashadi Paripuraka Chakram. So this fortune teller lady thought about Parvati and said, ask your daughter to show her palm. Then she checked her body and then checked, and then she started telling who has caused or what has caused this fever in the daughter. Karar Kulal Kundai Katuvichi Kateri Shirar Shulakil Chila Nel Piditheriya Nel Pidithu Eriya. She threw some grains. Vera Vidira Maishilira Kaimova. The mother was very anxious. Tell me who has caused this. Perayiramudayan Yendral. The one who has got the 1,000 names has caused this fever in her. So Andal mentions about Vishnu Sahasranamam.
Tirumangayalvar also mentions about Vishnu Sahasranamam. So it means that they were cognizant of what happened in Kurukshetra. They were adherent to the Vedic culture. So all the literature in India that was born in the ancient and medieval period completely stuck to the Vedic tradition. And Vishnu Sahasranamam was not from an utopian land. Everyone knew about Sahasranamam. In that Sahasranamam, we have seen the 6 characteristics features. But what led to Bhishmacharya telling Vishnu Sahasranamam? See, Bhishma did not say, Yudhishthira, come immediately, start immediately, come near me, I want to tell you Vishnu Sahasranamam. No. This was born as a result of Yudhishthira questioning. First of all, why should Yudhishthira question? For this, I have come up with one small theory. I am mentioning it is my theory because it was not found in any other book, what I have read. If you want to discard it, you may. I'll tell you what is the theory. Towards the end of Vanaparva, Pandavas were housed in the forest and now they had to spend the incoming 1 year in incognito, Ajnatam. Before which there was a small incident that occurred. They were ready, their Vanaparva was getting to a close. One day, a Brahmana's arani stick is a little stick, which you use to get the fire out. You will have to churn the rod to get that fire. Today, we use the fire from our matchstick and burn, right? In those days, if a person dies, you have to get the fire which has been incessantly burning from his Agnihotra to perform his final rites. How do we know Ravana was a Brahmana? There is a big doubt in Ramayana. Towards the end of Yuddha Kandam, when Ravana is dead, Vibhishana says, I will not perform his final rites. Because there was nobody left on Ravana's side to perform the final rites. All his sons were dead. Kumbhakarna was dead. Uncle was dead. So Vibhishana was the only one who was the surviving one. So Rama said, go and perform Vibhishana. Vibhishana says, I will not perform. He has not been a person who has adhered to Dharma Shastram at all. I will not perform. Rama said, I have no problem. All throughout my journey in the forest, I have been performing cremation for free to many people. For Jatayu, for everyone, I have been performing Kabandha. I will do it for your brother also. But remember, Maranantani Vairani. After a person is dead, you should not speak ill of that person. You should not celebrate that enmity. You may have had differences of opinion with your brother. But now it is your duty to perform. What should I do, Rama? Go get the fire from the Agnihotra which your brother Ravana has performed, says Rama in Yuddha Kandam. So fire, that fire has to come from the arani stick. One Brahmana kept that arani stick in between the branches of a tree. One deer with, clustered horns came and started rubbing itself against the tree. That stick got inserted in the horn of that deer. This Brahmana was worried about that stick. You generally don't get that stick very frequently. Even if you get, people get used to see. You may get the best of mattress, but certain people like their own pillow. It will be stained with so much of coconut oil. But they want that particular pillow. They will sleep only on that. So this Brahmana wanted that stick. The deer thought that the Brahmana was attacking the deer and it started running. This Brahmana couldn't run. That is when he spotted the Panchapandavas with Draupadi and he said, why don't you help me? Now these Pandavas started running and they got the stick and gave it to the Brahmana. After running, these people were panting for breath and they wanted some water. That is when the Panchapandavas see Sarasaksha Pakshis, which are those birds that will keep running only over water bodies. So they said, there is a water body close by, why don't you go? Then Nakula Sahadeva, Arjuna, Bhima, then finally Yudhishthira leave that place, finally deserting Draupadi. Again she is left alone. Now these 4 brothers go there. Then they all fall dead. Finally Yudhishthira goes and answers how many questions? 124. Very good. Everybody is alert. in that there is one question. He has answered every question brilliantly. Yudhishthira, no doubt, one of the greatest kings that Bharatadesham has seen. There is one question. Kaf panthaha? Yaksha asks. Kaf panthaha? What is the way? I am asking you this question. What is the way? If I am going to ask you, think I am the Yaksha. I look like one. So, Kaf panthaha? What is the way? What will you answer? Huh? What is the way? Where to? You'll ask, no, where to? Even Ola asks, drop point. Nowadays you have to put that drop point, else it will not take you anywhere. I'm asking you, what is the way? Then you have to ask, to where? Which is your destination? Correct. But had we been in Yudhishthira's place, those 4 people would have been dead forever. Because we do not know how to answer questions. We will ask the person who's asking us question another question. Sir, you are asking me what is the way. Now I wish to ask you one, where? Huh? But Yudhishthira knows that the context has been with Sanatana Dharma. He gives one answer. I will read out that answer. It's a very famous shlokam. Tarko apratishtaha shrutayo vibhinnaha naiko rishir yasya matam pramanam dharmasya tatvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatassa panthaha. Question was kaf panthaha? What is the way? Yudhishthira gives this answer. Tarko apratishtaha. Through logic, it is very inconclusive to establish what is the way. Tarko apratishtaha. Shrutayo vibhinnaha. The Shruti Vakyams, the Veda Vakyams also are very different and differ with each other. Naiko rishir yasya matam pramanam. No 2 rishis agree. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya mahajano yena gatissa panthaha. Mahajanaha. When whatever path our great grandfathers and preceptors have taken, that is the path, he says. But this may not be the exact answer. See, I don't know, these days I don't read the weather report. At least when I used to be listening to the weather report, which was a part of news, which used to come only 30 minutes in a day. There used to be news between 8 and 8:30 or 8:30 and 9, that's all. When we will know whatever is happening in the world. Today, same news. 15 people, they will call us. What they say, I won't understand. What I say, they don't wish to understand. Tarko apratishtaha. Tarkaha. Remember, for debating either in your family or let's say in your office or among scholars, one of the civilizations which can give you an easy ride is Sanatana Dharma, because Tarka Shastram is integral to our system. Even to derive and define God, you have to do him through Tarkam. We don't say close your eyes. One day I went, suddenly there was a voice. This is the book, take it. No, you have to ask questions. But Tarka Shastram may also not be that conclusive. I will give you an example where Tarka Shastram helps and where it may not. Where does Tarka Shastram help? See, largely the Western civilizations, largely today, as on date, they don't believe in the concept of karma and rebirth. Today, English has integrated the word karma. It's karma. She tells in Never Have I Ever. It's karma. But karma, the way we understand this, is accrued result of your purva janma. So you have to believe in past birth. But comes another question. How do you know there was a past birth? Correct? How do you know? Was there any recording? No. But there is a way we can derive it. The mother and father are perfectly healthy. No history of diabetes in the family, both in the maternal or in the paternal side. Hale and healthy, they have that what watch? Fit watch. They keep running, they do 20,000 steps a day, 3 liters of water. They have food in installments. It has omega 3. It has less fat. Everything they're doing. They deliver a kid. And the child has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.